I hope you guys have your popcorn ready because in today's video, I'm going to be going through and tearing apart minute by minute new video from Peter Zeihan saying why electronic vehicles, this is going to be a fun video, why they don't make sense and why they're not, it's not going to happen. EV adoption is not going to happen and all that kind of stuff. It's a new type of video. I'm going to be reacting to it. So get your popcorn ready, because I'm going to tear this video down minute by minute because there's a lot of trigger points and I don't think this guy even looked at what even Tesla is doing and how the EV market is in general. So it's going to be really, really interesting. And for the record, I love Peter Zeihan. I love his geopolitics side of views. I love his talks about geopolitics. But when it comes to business and all these like electronic things, EVs, I don't know, man. I think he's not doing enough research to it. So again, grab your popcorn, smash that like button, and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go. Here's why electronic vehicles don't make sense. Electronic vehicles, this is gonna be fun.
Hey everybody, Peter Zeihan here, coming to you from Colorado, where we've just had our first big winter storm and probably get a little bit more on top of the 9 inches we got last night. The news of the moment is that a lot of major auto manufacturers are scaling down their plans to make electric vehicles. Ford and GM have both canceled plans to build a couple new facilities for battery and EV assembly. No changes to their internal combustion engine vehicle plans.
Well, yeah, I mean, Ford and GM, they're losing money on every single EV they make. And they are not an EV maker, by the way. They are an OEM maker. And they only make money based off their gas cars because they have the infrastructure for that. But what's going to happen when nobody wants to buy gas cars anymore? Anyways, let's keep going.
Tesla has indicated a significant drawdown in their global production capacity.
Only because Q3 came out lower and we all knew they were shut down for factory upgrades. All right.
And in fact, they're saying they're going to suspend and maybe even cancel the plans for the Giga factory that they were going to be building in Mexico, although that's very TBD.
Hold on, let's stop. Let's get the facts right. Cancel? Suspend? Are you serious? Let's take a look at this article right here. Tesla Giga Mexico has secured all federal and regional permits, Economy Minister says from Mexico. If we scroll down here, he says Tesla is coming. Tesla is working. Tesla in some way has already started construction, just like the government of Nuevo Leon, if I didn't butcher that. We are doing it at the same time. They already have all federal and state permits. They already gave us all their needs to start construction. So we can assure that Tesla is coming to Nuevo Leon. So Tesla is coming. They haven't canceled or suspended anything. They're going to delay, as Elon Musk said in Q3 earnings call. They're going to delay a little bit just on all this uncertainty and macro environment that's going on so they can be more safe. Tesla is not canceling Giga Mexico. That's just absurd. I don't know where he got his information from, probably from the mainstream media, which is why I'm going to tear into this video, which is absolutely hilarious. But Elon said they are going to go at a slower pace, but they're going to build it. They need to build it to make that 25,000 compact car. So that's just fun. Let's continue.
There are a lot of issues in play here, but let's start with the I told you so's. This is something that was never going to work. From an environmental point of view, most EVs are at best questionable. The data that says they're slam dunk successes assumes that you're building the EVs with a relatively clean energy mix and then recharging it with 100% green energy, and that happens exactly nowhere.
It doesn't happen nowhere. Okay, let's take a look here. Let's take a look here in Tesla's impact report in 2022, not 2023, but in 2022, it says with more than 45,000 superchargers, now it's over 50,000. We own and operate the largest fast charging network in the world. Our global network has 99.95% uptake and was 100% renewable in 2022. Achieved through a combination of on-site resources and annual renewable matching. So not only is Tesla saying all their superchargers are 100%, they have the infrastructure and they're building it. So I don't know what Peter Zeihan is saying. It's not happening anywhere. It's happening in the United States and all the chargers that Tesla has all around the world. So I don't know. This is weird. Again, I need to know where he gets all this information from. Let's keep going.
In the United States, the cleanest state is California. They are still 50% fossil fuel energy, and they lie.
What's the other 50%?
Lie about their statistics because they say they don't know what the mix is for the power that they're importing from the rest of the country, which is something like a third of their total demand. And the stuff that comes, say, from the Phoenix area in Arizona to the LA basin, which is something like 10 gigawatts a day, which is more than most small countries, is 100% fossil fuel. but California claims to not know. More importantly,
he's saying about 10 gigawatts per day is being used. The majority of it is fossil fuels. And that's true. I mean, to replace fossil fuels with electricity, it's going to take a lot of time. And we're going to dive into it in a bit and just debunking all the stuff that he says. But let's take a look at Tesla's energy storage. In Q3 alone, they did 4 gigawatt per hour. And if we read here, energy storage deployments increased by 90% year over year in Q3 to 4 gigawatts per hour, our highest quarterly development ever. Continued growth in deployments was driven by the ongoing ramp of our mega factory in Lathrop, California toward a capacity of 40 gigawatts per hour with the phase 2 expansion. Production rate improved further sequentially in Q3. So take a look at this. Another 10x until they reached the 40 gigawatts. Just 5 years ago, they were at 400 megawatts. 5 years later, they 10x that to 4 gigawatts per hour. That's just absolutely insane, and they're thinking to do another 10x. And if you think this is where they're going to stop, they're going to continue it until we can have a sustainable economy. It's simple as that. At the moment, yes, Peter is right. We do have majority of our energy coming from fossil fuels. But then again, I don't think Peter Zeihan has looked into Tesla's financials and what they're doing as a business. He's just looking at it as like this electric vehicle company that's it. But he's not looking at it on how Tesla's doing it, how there's a whole ecosystem with Tesla to energy generation, to energy storage, as we see here, to EVs and all that kind of stuff. This is a whole ecosystem that Tesla has made to make it work. Tesla will continue to make more megapack factories to make more energy storages and energy generations so we can continue to use energy from renewables. Simple as that, to make it into a sustainable energy. That is all. We're not using much technology here other than solar panels and storage and connected to the grid. That's all that we're doing. It's not that complex. All right, let's continue.
More importantly, on the fabrication side, because there are so many more exotic materials and because energy processing to make those materials is so much more energy intensive, all of this work is done in China. And in most places, it's done with either soft coal or lignite. So you're talking about an order of magnitude more carbon generated just to make these things in the first place compared to an ICE.
Okay, let's stop right there. We're gonna debunk this. Take a look at this chart, guys. Shout out to Alex for putting this chart in. So making battery manufacturing causes a spike in CO2 emissions to make the vehicle. Okay, cool. We can see that. But EVs quickly pay off this carbon debt. Literally 13,000 miles in, and then over 100,000, it doesn't even reach the 15-ton CO2 mark here. While the average car makes over 40 ton per CO2. So when Peter's talking about CO2, yeah, making the cars from the beginning, yeah, it does generate more. But then overall, long term, look at that. It's 4 times more efficient and effective than a regular car, average gas car. So that is we're debunking that right now. But let's go more into it. Since we're getting more environmental here, let's go look into it. Look at this chart from the Tesla 2022 impact report. Current mining extraction, because remember, this is all part of CO2. Current mining extraction. Look at all the fossil fuels and all the other material mixed. But in a fully sustained economy, it's the same thing when it comes to all other minerals mined, but only 3 gigaton. That's all we don't need this other fossil fuel. So really, we are reducing carbon emissions because we're not using fossil fuel extraction here. So this is actually better for the planet than we think, than he thinks. Again, I don't think he dived into these reports. I think he really should dive into these reports so he can see exactly what's going on. So when he says an order of magnitude of CO2 is needed to make the electric vehicles, the data says something else. So he is not getting the right information. But anyways, let's keep going forward. Let's see what he else has to say. So far, we've been tearing him apart. Let's go.
And that means that these things don't break even on the carbon scale within a year. For most, you're talking about approaching 10 years or more, and that assumes you buy the Chinese data, which is... Right. Okay, so that's kind of number one. Number two is materials. These vehicles require an order of magnitude more stuff, more copper, more molybdenum, more lithium, obviously, graphite. And the energy content required to put those into process is where most of the energy cost comes from. But the more important thing is if we're going to convert the world's vehicle fleets to these things, there's just not enough of this stuff on the planet. I'm not saying that we can't build on time, but that time is measured in decades. Humanity has never doubled the production.
Okay, let's just stop right there. He's saying that we don't have these materials. We don't have enough of these materials. Let's take a look at this chart here. But before we take a look at this chart, We just found lithium, a massive pile of lithium in the US, in Iran, and other parts of the world because we are looking for them. And this is exactly follows up with this chart here. Global minerals reserve and resource base, correcting public perception. What people think happens. The more we use, the less of the material or minerals get less, like what Peter Zeihan is thinking. But what actually happens is, look at that. We're finding more. We're finding more lithium, nickel, cobalt, all that kind of stuff. And copper, we're finding more of that. Why is that? Because we look for them. Simple. When we need a specific mineral and material, we go look for them. And the more we look, we find it. Do you guys think we've already run out of oil? Like there's no more oil out there? There is a ton that we haven't found yet. Greenland, South China Sea, we get the Black Sea, Antarctica, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, places that we haven't even looked yet. The reason why we're not looking is because we have enough oil all around the world to extract from and use. We don't need any more oil. But when we do need it, we'll go find it. It's the same thing when it comes to these minerals. Look at that, 2002, lithium and all that kind of stuff. Barely nothing. All of a sudden in 2022, they're all increasing because, I mean, look at lithium. Everyone thought that lithium, we don't have that much lithium. Iron, we don't have that much. Cobalt, all of a sudden we're finding it everywhere because we're actually looking for it. So whatever Peter Zeihan is saying here is, I don't think he's educated here that in order to find that mineral that we need to go look for it. And we haven't looked for it that long. I mean, we've only started looking for it in the last decade or so. For oil, we've been looking at it for a whole century, 100 years, and we have so much of it. And so the more we look in places, the more we're going to find these minerals. It's really that simple. All right, let's go forward. Let's go back a little bit. I think we missed some part here.
Stuff on the planet. I'm not saying that we can't build in time, but that time is measured in decades.
No.
Humanity has never doubled the production of any industrial material at any time in history within a 10-year period if it was something we were using before. And supposedly we need, 10 times as much nickel and all the rest.
We just got to look for it. We'll find it. It's simple. We have the technology to do it.
So the stuff just isn't there. So even
it's there. We just have to look for it.
Even if this was an environmental panacea, which it's not, we would never be able to do it in a very short time frame. You're talking a century plus, most likely.
Okay, so he's talking about, again, he's going back saying that it's not environmental friendly. Let's take a look at this chart again. Look at that. We only need 3 gigatons compared to fossil fuel extraction. Only 3 megatons in a fully sustainable economy to get the minerals that we need to do it. Let's keep going.
Third, cost. Your typical EV, if you want to compare it to something that's an internal combustion, it really depends upon the model. The cheapest ones are going to still cost about $10,000 more than their equivalent. The more expensive ones can be upwards of $70,000. And so this is not a vehicle who's for most people. And that's before you consider little things like range anxiety. And I've rented an EV. It's real.
All right, so he's talking about cost and then range anxiety. Let's talk about cost for a second, all right? Oh, look at that. Teslas are now cheaper than Toyota. Whoa, hold on a second. I thought Teslas were expensive. Well, I got to give it credit to him. EVs are expensive. This is only in California that's cheaper than a Toyota, but in places in other parts in the US, yes, they have credits and, state incentives and all that kind of stuff. In Canada, a Model 3 is still $40,000 to $50,000, which is really expensive, even with our $5,000 incentive. It's expensive. In other parts of the world, it's expensive. It is. But what do you think is going to happen when the compact car comes out? Yep, that's all I gotta say. The compact car is going to shift everyone's point of view that, oh wait, Tesla's no longer that expensive. Even though with all these price cuts, Teslas are a bit expensive. Yes, they're cheaper than they were before because of all the price cuts, but they're still expensive. Yeah. In some states, they're cheaper than Toyota, but they're still expensive. He also talks about range anxiety. And so for me personally, who's rented out Teslas and I've been across country and my province, Ontario in Canada, I don't have much of a range anxiety, but most people don't know where to charge it, how to charge it. They're not educated yet. It is growing though. The trend is growing, but range anxiety for most people that are uneducated is real. But it's not a thing. It's becoming less and less every single day. Let's continue.
There just aren't enough charging stations. So in order to build out the electrical system that we need in order to have a nationwide EV program, we need to basically increase low end the amount of electricity generation and throughput of our system by about half. Now, there's only been 1 year since the 1960s where the United States...
Okay, let's just stop. He's saying there's not enough charging stations. Okay, we have to take a look at the chart again. Tesla has over 5,600 supercharger stations all around the world, over 51,000 supercharger connectors, and every 6 hours, Tesla makes the supercharger stations somewhere around the planet with an average of 9 chargers. And here is the supercharger stations in the United States, and here is the superchargers all around the world. Look at that, US and Canada. You got Mexico here as well. You got all of Europe. You've got a little bit of Turkey, and that's growing in Turkey because it just started there. We have a little bit of Israel and Jordan, I think. We have Dubai and Oman a little bit here. Kuwait, I mean, I'm here in Kuwait. We don't have it yet. Saudi, I'm sure it's gonna go soon. We've got the Thailand, Singapore, we got Malaysia and the Philippines, new markets that Tesla has entered. They're going to make more superchargers. Hong Kong and China, they have a lot. I'm not too sure why it's not showing here. Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, Australia, New Zealand. So really there's more. I mean, Tesla could double or triple the amount of superchargers there is. It's still not going to be enough for the global world. Nonetheless, this is a new trend. I mean, look at the South America untapped market. Imagine once Mexico comes in, I do expect that South America is gonna be electrified as well. So there's a lot of room for Tesla to grow, and they're just starting. It's an absolute huge moment. But the supercharger network is there. The infrastructure is there. Again, Peter Zeihan, if you're watching this video, do you look at Tesla? Just dive into Tesla. Just look at some reports, man, and you'll see exactly what's going on. I feel like you just go based on what the media says and what other people say. Do some deep dive into Tesla. I'm sure you'll find some very, very interesting things. And half the things that you're saying, Tesla is already doing and beyond. That's all I gotta say. All right, let's continue.
So in order to build out the electrical system that we need in order to have a nationwide EV program, we need to basically increase low end the amount of electricity generation and throughput of our system by about half. Now, there's only been 1 year since the 1960s where the United States has ever increased the amount of electricity generated by more than 3%. And that was the year we came back from COVID. And
I wonder which company allowed for US to do 3% electric upgradation. It was right after COVID. What happened right after COVID? Tesla will start a boom. Yeah,
so you didn't have to install any new infrastructure for that. We would have to generate the sort of build-out that we did back in the 50s when the country was electrifying for the first time.
And it's going to get electrified again with Tesla, but not with the amount of technology that we need back then. Obviously, technology has improved, and as we see, Tesla is electrifying the grid bit by bit, month by month, year by year. But Tesla's there. They're doing it.
And that's going to require an order of magnitude more, almost 2 orders of magnitude, well, let's call it 20 times more, equipment.
20 times more? Okay, let's look at this chart. Tesla only needs half the energy required to do this. They don't need 20 times more, only half the energy required to do this. Take a look at this one here. 80% of global energy comes from fossil fuels. Today's energy economy is dirty. 80% of our energy comes from burning fossil fuels, which leads to rising global temperatures and CO2 levels, as well as premature deaths from population. Furthermore, the current energy economy is wasteful, with only 1/3 of global energy produced delivering useful work or heat. Current state, sustainable resources, fossil fuels 80%. But if we take a look at this chart, a sustainable energy economy requires 50% less total energy. Most people assume that an electrified civilization requires the same or more energy than a fossil fuel economy. That is not true. A sustainable energy economy is clean and far more efficient, requiring only half the primary energy of a fossil fuel economy. So current state, again, 20% sustainable, 80% fossil fuel. Sustainable energy economy. Just look at the sustainable energy, 50%. Knocking away fossil fuels for good, end use efficiency. Look at the petawatt, 165 pegawatt per year compared to a sustainable energy economy, 84 pegawatt per year. Absolutely insane. So 20 times more. What are you smoking, bro? What are you flipping smoking? And the cost of this is only 10% of world GDP of 10 trillion. Look at this. World GDP is soaring up, and this is going to continue. So we only need 10%, which is not that much of a cost if you look at the world GDP. Absolutely insane. What else is insane is we only need 1/5, just a little bit more than 1/5 of land area around the world to do this. So this is not as much as we think, and I don't know what Peter Zeihan is. I don't know, man. Please, Peter Zeihan, look into Tesla. Look at the reports. It's the greatest information that you can get when it comes to sustainable energy and a cleaner energy and a greener energy and environment. All right, let's continue.
When it comes to things like transformers and cables than we have done in 75 years. And if we started building out the facilities necessary to build those things today, they will not be ready at scale within 4 years. And then you can begin the build out in 4 years and it'll still take another decade. So no. But
again, Tesla's already doing this. They're already ahead. Peter Zeihan, please look into Tesla. Just please look into the reports when it comes down to their impact report and their master plan part 3. Tesla's ahead. They're already doing this. The infrastructure is there when it comes to EVs, when it comes to green energy, when it comes to storage and supercharging. It's there already.
Finally, I mean, the EV manufacturers really don't pay any attention to any of this. The real issue is that sales are down. For these reasons and more, people just aren't interested in EVs at the current time. They're not as reliable, they don't have the range, people are a little nervous about the technology in general, and perhaps most importantly, if you've got a new style of EV that comes out, these are new technologies, not a lot of people want to play today's prices for yesterday's EV. And so what we're seeing is cars building up on the lots, not internal combustion cars, those lots are empty. But EVs are...
I can't find. I gotta stop here. So he's saying that nobody wants to pay for EVs today. There's a lot to cover here, but let's just go bit by bit. He's saying that nobody wants to pay today's money for yesterday's EV because technology is old. Maybe with Ford and GM, because they're not software, they don't have that much, they don't have a software like how Tesla does. But with Tesla, you could have a 2014 Model S and have an up-to-date software today. You can have a Model 3, 2017 Model 3 and have an up-to-date software today because Tesla is like your phone. These electric vehicles, mainly Tesla, is like your phone. Your phone, you don't need to go get a new phone every single year unless you're an Apple user. But you don't need to do it. You can use the phone from 5-10 years ago and use the latest update to it and your phone is brand new. It's the same thing with a flipping car, mainly with a Tesla vehicle. Over-the-air update and your car is brand new. It's not like the regular gas car where you get 10 years ago, every single day is going to get worse and less updated and just worse. Every single day with a Tesla, it gets updated and it gets like you're sitting into a brand new car with a new feature. Oh my goodness. Now he's saying that nobody cares, nobody wants to buy electric vehicles, sales are down. Well, let's take a look at some charts. Shout out to James Stevenson. Look at that. US EV unit sales growth and decline Q3 of 2023 to prior years. Look at Tesla. All the way up. Chevy, Rivian. All these guys are below. I mean, look at Kia and all those other guys. It's losing. But Tesla is at least 10 times further than all of them. Even if you put all of them combined together, Tesla is still further. It's absolutely insane. Let's look at the other chart. Electric vehicles sold in the US by brand. Where's the bubble? Oh, there it is. That's just a crazy chart. Let's look at the other charts. Exponential growth. Tesla cumulative vehicle production exception to date. 2023, 5 million productions. Absolutely insane. And by March, we should reach 6 million. But look at that. How, if there was no demand for EVs, then how do you explain this? The next chart. 12 trailing month global Tesla deliveries. Look at that. Oh my God. The chart is so long. The bar is so long that I have to go up. Over 1.7 million vehicles since Q3 of 2013 till Q3 of 2023. Just look at that. Demand is there. People are buying. Let's keep going because we're not, look at that. Tesla sold 10 times as many EVs as any other car maker during the first 3 quarters of 2023. Tesla is 10 times, even with the Q3 shutdown. With upgrades, is 10 times more than Chevy and Ford. Heck, again, if you add them all together in a chart, Tesla is still ahead by half, by double, probably even more than double. Insane. Next chart. US EV sales in the first 6 months of 2023. Just look at the chart. Tesla is taking majority of all sales in the US, and this will continue as we keep going forward. Man, I don't know. I think Peter Zeihan is talking on the behalf of other automakers like GM, Ford, and Volkswagen, Hyundai, and all those other guys. I don't think he's looking at Tesla. I think he's just looking what the mainstream media is saying and he's going based off that and he's putting his thoughts together. I don't think he's ever done a deep dive into Tesla like someone like I am and you guys watching who's into Tesla, who do deep dives into a company like Tesla. Peter Zeihan, again, if you're watching this, please do a deep dive on Tesla. You're going to be surprised with the amount of things that they are doing. Let's continue this.
Those lots are empty, but EVs are building up on the lots and people just aren't buying them without absolutely massive discounts. And the discounts are now to the point that the whole industry is no longer profitable, even with the subsidies that came in from the Inflation Reduction Act.
Okay. Again, he's definitely talking about Ford and GM. He's definitely talking about them because look, Ford again warns on EV results, withdraws 2023 forecast, canceling EVs completely. If you scroll down to what he says here and why they're canceling it is because Ford lost an estimated $36,000 per each vehicle that was sold, each electric vehicle that was sold, which is absolutely shocking. And not to mention, they had to increase their wages 25% because the UAW got in the way. So really, you have more costs coming from each side. And right now, gas companies and ICE companies, when they make electric vehicles, they lose in every single car that they make. And with this wage increase and all that, just puts more pressure into the company. They have to stop EV sales, otherwise they're going to go bankrupt. It's absolutely insane what's going on with them. If you ask me, gas company cars are in a very, very tough spot right now, which is why, again, Peter Zeihan earlier did mention about like supercharger issues. The infrastructure is not there. Every OEM now is going into Tesla's supercharger network because they have everywhere, all around the world. And this is also to help them sell the electric car vehicles that are selling at a loss so people can be less range anxiety. But this all comes back to Tesla. Anyways, let's take a look at this chart here with all the margins, Tesla profit margins. Now, this price has gone less because of all the discounts. And yes, Peter Zeihan did mention discounts heavily. Well, Tesla has the margins to do it, and they don't care if they don't make money on their vehicles because they have FSD and other things that they're planning to do. They just want to sell more volumes out there because later on Tesla will have a service as a software business, completely a different business model than other car makers. But they keep saying Tesla is just a car company. But nonetheless, long term, that's what it is. Short term, if we look at these prices here, look at this. With the price decreases and all, Tesla's around 7,000 to 6,500 profit. No longer 9,500 because they brought down prices. GM 2150, I think that's lower now because they completely removed their Bolt. BYD, just recently they are at a cash flow negative, but yes, they are the only company aside from Tesla making money on their EVs. Toyota 1197, but they are reducing the forecast on it as well. Volkswagen 973, Hyundai 927, Ford, I mean, this number should be turned to negative 36,000 and not 762. Xpeng and NIO, you can forget about it. Look, the only company right now in the auto industry that wants to make EVs as a winner is Tesla, period. That is it. Talk about EVs on the lot. Let's talk about it. This is Tesla's inventory per region. You get the rest of the world, you got North America here, and you have Europe. What happened here on October 1st is they started to ramp again for the Model 3 and Model Y because they had a shutdown in the majority of Q3 for a month or so to do upgrades so they can produce more and sell more. And so that's why you see this massive uptake, and it's selling. It's stabilized. That means the amount they're producing, and they're at full production right now. So I think what Peter Zeihan, again, what he's saying here is towards the OEMs making this and not towards Tesla. They're selling every single vehicle that they make. So sheesh. Peter Zeihan, please again, look to Tesla. There's a lot more information that I don't think they've been given to you or you're not researching yourself. So let's keep going.
Ultimately, if people don't want them, these are not going to be sold. And so we have now converted 1% of the American vehicle fleet to EVs. And it looks
and growing. You guys want to see a chart here? 1%. Look at that. EV makers growing here. Look at that. 73% in 2022. Overall, 13% EV market share. Global. If the US is 1%, that's really good news for Tesla because he has 99% to take over. Untapped market, man. That's all I got to say. Let's see. Keep going.
Looks like we may be very close to the peak. But for me, a green who can do math, this couldn't come soon enough. We have limited capital, we have limited resources, we have limited material inputs, and we have limited labor. And we really need to focus on the technologies of the green transition that work. And this isn't one of them.
Limited capital, limited materials, limited labor. Oh my God. Again, when it comes to materials, take a look at this chart. We just got to find materials. Capital. We just need 10 trillion to do this. Labor. Tesla is growing day by day, and they're thinking about the Tesla bot. Okay. Again, Peter Zeihan, please do your research on Tesla and don't look at mainstream media because the way you're looking at it, you're looking like what Ford and GM is doing, and then you're putting it on Tesla. I don't know. That's not the right way of doing it. And please, 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 don't make stupid videos like these. I'm sorry, but this was such an uneducated video when it comes to electric vehicles. Even the thumbnail, electronic vehicles, man, come on, man. To overall green energy and all that kind of stuff. The world is transitioning to an EV. That is inevitable. It's going to happen. And I just hope you're ready for it and just do the research, man, because this video is pretty misguided. Again, do the research and then make another video about it. So yeah, that's what Peter Zeihan is saying, guys. Peter Zeihan is saying it doesn't make sense, which it does totally make sense when it comes to EV adoption and transitioning to a sustainable energy. I think him and Tony Seba should go in a room and talk about it, because Tony Seba is saying the exact opposite of what he's saying, and he is informed, and his prediction has been right for the past 10 years. And this guy for the past 5 years, he's been wrong. He made a video earlier, like I think it was a year ago, saying that there's not enough lithium to make batteries. Now, all of a sudden, there's enough lithium around the world to make as many batteries for the next century. So really, he needs to be more educated in the EV space, in the green space, and then make more educational videos based on facts and not based on what mainstream media is telling him and what Ford and GM is doing. Anywho, guys, that's what Peter Zeihan is saying here. And I had to make a video of it because it did trigger me for a bit. I'm just like, oh my God, you serious, man? 75%, 80% of all the things he said was absolutely false, and there is no data behind it. Anywho, if you guys enjoyed this video, smash that like button, man. And guys, if you guys are a Tesla investor like I am, then you guys need to watch this video. 100 shares will be worth in 20, flipping 30. Get your I bought the dip t-shirt, man, like I'm wearing one right now, because hey, in 2030, we definitely bought the dip today. And subscribe for more, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.